Hey, what's up DIYers? Mike Boards with the Mike Boards channel. Thank you for watching. In today's video, we are going to show you how to prepare your laundry center for pickup. And we have a GE electric version. In the event that you have a gas version, definitely check out the link down below in the comments and description. We'll show you how to do that because you have a gas line. However, with ours, it's electric. We do not have that. Let's take a look. Making our way to our laundry center location, and let's go and open up the doors. And there it is, as you see, our laundry center, and in our case we have a GE model and we have an electrical model or unit as opposed to a gas. And because of that, we have a higher voltage power cord and power block as shown here. Step number one, for safety purposes, we are going to disconnect the power block from the connection. Don't just let the power cord and power block fall and smack the floor. That would not be good. Carefully set it down, as shown there. And at this point, all electrical power has been completely cut or removed from the system. And coming to the right side, there is our shutoff valve for both the hot and cold, and we have our drain hose for the washing machine. And coming to the left side, and down below is our dryer duct or hose that connects to the dryer chute or exhaust chute that goes through the wall and to the outside or exterior portion, where it sends the hot air, again, out of the exhaust. Next, what I did was grab a tool, as shown here. Down below in the comments and description will be a link on where to purchase that. That will help in removing or loosening up and removing the fittings for the water lines. In addition, I've got a towel and a little container down there to catch any water that leaks out. Inside this panel right here, we will remove that because that is where you gain access to the opposite side or ends of the water lines. You don't actually have to remove both sides of the water lines. This is probably the smartest area because you won't actually have to remove that panel, but we are going to show you both. And in our case, we have, again, a shutoff valve. It is currently on. We are going to shift it to the off configuration without putting too much pressure on any of these parts and damaging and creating a leak. That would not be good. It is now in the fully off configuration. Got the camera position. We are again going to remove this panel. I do want to show you the opposite ends of the water lines where they connect to the water inlet valve, and 2 Phillips screws in our case. We are going to loosen up and remove these. With the screws removed, the panel is still secured. You need to shift it up slightly, and that is going to basically free it up from the slots. And again, inside there are the opposite ends of the water lines. Let's take a closer look. And coming inside here, here's a close-up view of your control board and electrical wiring. And in the event that you ever need guidance or help on replacing your control board, whether your washer is not turning on, your dryer is not turning on, or your entire system is just malfunctioning, the cause is very likely a faulty and worn out or needing to be replaced control board. However, again, the opposite ends of the water lines feeding into the water inlets, and those go back and down as shown there, and come up and around the right side of the laundry center and feed into those connections or water shutoff valve housing. So I did want to show you that. However, we are going to remove these water line fittings first and feed them down near the towel and into the container so the water can drain out. Camera now in position, looking directly at the water shutoff valve housing and the water line fittings, and try to loosen them up by hand. You might be able to. However, if you can't, it may be easier to gain access or get a better grip of the fittings if you remove your drain hose. Carefully pull it up and out, as shown there. And I'm going to feed this down and inside that container down below, and hopefully it will stay in there. From here, again, just try it by hand. And neither of those are going to be friendly to remove by hand, so grabbing that tool and counterclockwise to loosen. And once you loosen them up with that tool, you may be able to loosen them by hand as shown here. DIYers, it is very common for the water to leak at that point. I am going to grab some paper towel and feed it underneath there. As shown there, nothing fancy. And again, just loosening and removing the fitting from the housing. And there's the water. you may find it easier just to loosen it just a little bit and allow that water to trickle out or drip out, as opposed to loosening the fitting and fully removing it and water pouring out. But in most cases, it will not pour out because, again, we've shut the water off. And there is the fitting. Inside here is a gasket or O-ring. We are now going to shift that down below and into the container. You can hear the water now feeding inside that container. Next, we will loosen and remove the additional fitting and water line. Not much leaking out on this one. There it goes. And again, the inside. And I will feed that down to the container. Take a step back, let's go down inside here to show you what I have done. And you can see again the drain hose as well as both water lines leaking and draining inside that container. Camera now positioned, again looking directly at the inner water line fittings where they secure to the inlet. And again, we are going to loosen up those fittings and remove them. However, I'll be honest, this step is really not required, because all you have to do after you remove the water lines from the shutoff valve housing that we just did, you can basically wrap up the hoses and tie strap them in place on the back portion of your appliance. And in our case, with our specific guidelines for pickup, that is acceptable. But again, I do want to show you removing these. Coming in with the tool. And that one is loose. And in addition, it's very likely that water will leak here. However, not as likely as the opposite end, because if you look at this fitting here, it comes up and out of the water inlet. It makes a 90-degree angle turn and then directly down, where the water will be gravity fed down. However, I do have a paper towel readily accessible. I'm going to just let that sit there. They're completely removed. To a different camera angle, you can see again the opposite ends of the water lines. I am going to come and grab the back sides here. And DIYers, check that out. Both water lines, hot and cold, are fully removed from the system. Taking a step back, and again, the water lines are completely removed, and you didn't actually, again, have to go inside and remove them, but I wanted to show you that. You can actually also remove them from here and keep them connected there as you remove the entire appliance out of the enclosure. However, that may lead you to want to keep your water lines, and it is very frowned upon and never a good idea to use these same water lines that you have been using for a very long time on your old appliance. If you're getting a brand new washer, install brand new water lines. However, from here, I'm going to remove the drain hose from the container, pull the container and towel out, and loosen up and remove the clamp and dryer duct or hose from the chute, and continue pulling or preparing this for pickup. And I did just that, and again, remove the towel as well as the container, and I actually pulled the drain hose up and just locked it in place right inside there. Time to remove the dryer duct. Camera now in position, and in our case we have a 1/4-inch head screw. You can use a 1/4-inch socket, or in our case we also have a Phillips machine cut, and we are going to grab our screwdriver and Phillips bit and again loosen up the clamp. And with the clamp removed, we are going to carefully shift the dryer duct hose off the chute, and in the event that it is stuck, just carefully give it a turn or continue loosening up the clamp. And there it is. The dryer duct or hose is completely removed and disconnected from the chute that feeds outside and exhausts all that hot air out of the home. And DIYers, while we are here looking at the chute, in the event that you ever want to replace your chute as well as the outside or exterior portion of the chute and vent, we will have a link down below on how to do that. Definitely check that out. Coming up and out of the enclosure, and just a recap before we pull this entire laundry center out of the enclosure. Not many things to disconnect and remove. The power cord and block, the 2 water lines, the drain hose, and the dryer hose or duct. And we have done all of that. From here, just double check everything. And if all looks good, which it does in our case, you can begin pulling or shifting the entire appliance out of the location it is resting in. In addition, your machine or unit might have rollers or wheels. However, ours does not. And if yours does, come down below and you've got your leveling legs, go ahead and turn those clockwise and that will feed them up and away from the floor. And from there, the weight of the washer or appliance will rest on the wheels. And you can do that all the way around. That'll make it easier to shift it out of the enclosure. We are making progress. As you see, the entire laundry center or appliance is removed from the enclosure. And as I shifted it out, I raised each corner and shifted towel underneath the legs to prevent scratching or scraping to the tile floor. Because again, I do not have rollers. In addition, I've got the water lines inside here, as well as the power cord and drain hose. And to the back, there's the dryer duct and more. Now, to a different camera angle, and DIYers having it on that towel is a lot easier in our case. However, wheels will be much easier also. And no scratching to the tile floor, which is nice. And our laundry center, to be very specific, is 250 pounds, something I cannot pick up by myself. Making our way to the rear or back side of the laundry center or appliance, starting at the very bottom. Again, the dryer duct, the drain hose, which is the black one for the washing machine, the power cord, and coming inside here. And I put a paper towel over the inlets that we removed the water lines from. And not sure if any of this info is important. And coming up to the top. And again, our guidelines did say we had to unplug it, disconnect the water lines, the dryer duct or hose, and pull it out of the enclosure. However, not all guidelines do. That might just be a laundry center requirement because it's one unit or basically attached as one. If you're just removing a dryer or washing machine, you might not actually have to remove it from the enclosure. However, I would recommend pulling it out at least 6 inches, maybe a foot. So the people that come and pick it up after dropping off your new appliance don't look at it and say, seriously, you didn't even pull it out an inch? So that might be a good idea. I'm going to vacuum and clean. And that goes to our amazing gift we got from my younger brother, Miles. And there it is. And if you're wondering or asking if we love it, we absolutely do. It is awesome. However, back to the laundry center, and I'm going to do a full 360 here and show you what I've done. I will come back to that here shortly. And let's go to the rear portion. And I use zip ties, and down below in the comments and description will be links on where to purchase zip ties. And I use the zip ties to basically zip tie the drain hose in an organized manner. And I also zip tie the power cord. And DIYers, in the event that you want step-by-step guidance on how to properly and safely replace your power cord and power block to your new appliance, or in our case, laundry center, definitely check out the link down below in the comments and description. And that is secured. And then the dryer duct. And it goes to the opposite end. And let's go back over here. And I loosened up the clamp and basically used a sandwich bag and put the dryer duct or hose inside it, because inside this dryer hose or duct is a lot of lint and probably sand, dirt, and more. However, anytime you move this, like a cloud of dust comes out. And again, I used that sandwich bag and secured it with the clamp, so when the crew picks up this unit and removes it, no dust will go all over the floor. In addition, used my Dyson vacuum, also purchased this from Amazon. And there is that drain pan. And the little adapter here, actually, you can cut that hole and secure that in there and connect it to the plumbing. In our case, we don't have that set up. Ours is up top. And what I will do now is show you the brand new washing machine or laundry center when it gets here. And DIYers, as promised, if you're still watching, on the left-hand side is our old one. We basically just removed from the enclosure and prepared it for pickup. We are going to keep it because it still works, it still runs. We are going to perform several helpful DIY repair videos on this for all of you, the DIY community, and then we'll sell it. And the newly delivered about an hour ago, brand new laundry center. The same model, electric, GE, different serial number obviously, and 10 years newer. However, again, just wanted to show you that, and we have taken delivery of it. As you see, we are now going to install it. And down below in the comments and description is a link on how to basically reverse all the steps that we just performed and get the new one installed and up and running.